Hello Pisces, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past or current energy and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Pisces, let's jump on in. We're going to start with looking at your overall energy, the oracle cards first. So we'll look at your recent past, current energy, and immediate future with oracle cards, and then we will dive deeper into the reading with tarot as we progress. But let's first start here, Pisces, looking at this recent past energy. See what you guys have been dealing with. You are good enough with a win-win outcome is forecast. You've been dealing with a situation that has you heavily doubting your worth or your capability in some way. With this, the underline for this is step out of your comfort zone. I kind of feel as if you were very much like in some way catapulted outside of your comfort zone, as if, and I don't know, for some of you, this might have been like a welcome thing. For others of you, there might have been a lot of resistance around this, but I do definitely feel as if whatever change or whatever this is talking about, you have a win-win outcome as forecast. So it's happening for your highest good. That might be difficult for you to understand at this time, but yeah, I do definitely feel that there's a lot of self-doubt in this energy. Let's see where your current energy is at, Pisces. Nothing will come of this situation. The answers you need are coming. What is that trying to say? Because to me, this nothing will come of this situation is this energy of like, nothing ever changes if nothing ever changes. Excuse me, I'm dealing with allergies right now. Nothing ever changes if nothing ever changes, meaning that there are certain changes that you are being asked to make. And I think that you were kind of pushed into making a lot of changes in this past energy. And this is like continuing on with certain changes, like not going backwards into old like patterns or habits or spaces, but really choosing to move forward. Because I feel like that is where you're going to find like better outcomes. Because it's almost like you're still searching. Especially if things changed really unexpectedly and really rapidly, it's almost like you're still searching for what you desire and like how things used to be. So maybe you've been trying to get back to how things were before things changed, but it's almost like you don't actually want things to go back to how they were. You want them to move forward to where they're headed now, because I definitely feel as if Spirit's taking you to better spaces, more aligned spaces. But I do think that this will require, you have surrender to the divine on the bottom. So will require some surrendering, letting go of control. And I know how hard that is. But let's see what you've got moving forward here, Pisces. Because to me, this energy feels good. Your commitment is being tested. This to me is about commitment to your future, commitment to like what it is you deserve, what it is that you desire. Because yeah, it's almost like these spaces that you were moved out of didn't align with what it is that you deserve or what it is that you're capable of. It's almost like maybe these spaces required you to play small or to hold back like parts of yourself in some way. And I almost feel like Spirit's saying there's a reason that you were moved away from certain people or situations. It was so almost like what I hear is like so you can shine brighter, so you can step fully into your potential and really receive what it is that you deserve. However, this requires your willingness to commit to possibility and not to go back to what feels safe and comfortable. And I think that's the challenge for anyone, right? It's so hard to let go of comfort that we're clinging to, even if that comfort or that familiarity isn't what's best for us. Emotions are running high. What is the outcome of this, though? Whoa, okay. The energy is gaining momentum. I want one more. Balance spirituality and practicality. There's more possibility than you realize. Pisces, I feel like you've been playing it safe for a while in some area of your life. And like feeling this pull or this call toward more, but not really fully stepping into that because I don't know if there's fear around it or a lot of doubt around it or what, but it's almost like it feels like spirit is really pushing you out of what's comfortable and familiar. And that might be, well, naturally very uncomfortable, but I will say that's kind of what, 2025 was all about, Year of the Snake, is, shedding things that are no longer aligning with us to make space for what is. And I think that this is about really trusting what you are moving toward, because it almost kind of feels as if you're being given this opportunity or this option here to level up your life in some way, but it requires your decision. It doesn't just happen. It's like it's a decision that you actively make to not go backwards. Like, that's the best way I can describe it. To not go back to spaces that aren't serving you. Overall theme of this for Pisces. So that's why I feel like it's like nothing is set in stone, because it's like you get to kind of decide here. I also feel like that's what nothing will come of the situation is talking about. You reach dead ends in past situations. It's almost like you've outgrown certain spaces, like you've found or discovered all there is to be discovered in those spaces. And that's why this is about moving forward. Growth, shift. It kind of feels like a shift in timelines. Like outgrowing a certain life or situation or something. This feels like growing pains is what it feels like, but then relief. This is what's on the side. Courage. On the bottom, courage brings relief. So this requires a good amount of courage to step into whatever this is. It's almost like a portal opening up for you. Interesting. All right, Pisces, let's look at this past energy. You are good enough. A win-win outcome is forecast. So this is kind of like the spaces that had you doubting yourself, kept you small in some way. Seven of Cups. Two of Cups in reverse. And then the Temperance. It's almost as if you were in spaces that were trying to, and the best way that I can describe this, because I'm staring at this lion, like in this card you have this lion, the Two of Cups, it is in reverse, and then in this card you have this, I think it's like an alligator type thing, an alligator dragon type thing, and it's almost like in spaces that we're trying to like tame you in ways that you're not meant to be tamed. And I don't mean that in the sense that like maybe it's like spaces that we're trying to control you or keep you from recognizing like how powerful you are, or how much like potential you really do hold. And I almost kind of get this feeling that there were certain people in situations that were really benefiting from what you were bringing to the table without like properly reciprocating that value. So it's almost like the best way that I can describe it is, and this sounds like kind of intense, but being in spaces where people were trying to make you think that you weren't as wonderful and magnificent and powerful as you really are. Because it's like, as soon as you start believing in that, like how much you really bring to the table and what you're really worth, it's like, it's game over, right? Because you're certainly not going to settle for, spaces like this anymore. But it's almost like being in spaces that were kind of keeping you small, holding your power back, keeping you, like this Two of Cups in reverse. What I really hear with this is like disconnected from your light or from your true potential here, keeping you overwhelmed and stressed and doubting yourself. Like, this is, like I said, really intense. And I think with this Temperance card too, it's interesting actually, because look at this. This "you are good enough" face on this card and then this face on this Temperance card are very similar. It's almost like, and both of them have their eyes closed. So it's almost like your eyes were, like you were blind to certain things happening, and maybe you didn't realize that this was happening. And then, like, one day you kind of like opened your eyes and you were like, or maybe that day hasn't come yet, but I was like, this is about opening your eyes and being like, whoa, I deserve more than this, or I can, I bring more to the table than what this is providing me. Like, it's almost like seeing the truth in something. And I think that, again, I kind of get this feeling that you weren't fully aware of it. Maybe you are starting to become aware of it. But I also feel like there's a draw toward these people in situations still too, though. It's like, no, like, I want to go back there. But you don't want to go back. You think you do because of the familiar aspects of it, but you don't actually, because what's ahead of you is so much better. All right, current energy for Pisces. The Hermit. You're being asked to do some reflection on this. Not from a place of like putting yourself back into something that's painful, but from this place of recognizing why Spirit has worked so hard to move you out of certain spaces, because there's still this energy for whoever I'm speaking to, this collective of resisting change. It's almost like, I don't want this to end. I want things to go back to how they were. I want to be back in these spaces. But you don't. You think you do, but you don't. You think you do, maybe because you think that's as good as it can get for you. Maybe you think that it can never be as, good as you felt things were in that space. But Spirit's saying, no, you don't understand. There are so many better things, spaces, people that align with you. And it's almost like Spirit saying, but this is also a cycle. So if you choose to keep repeating the cycle, you're going to end up feeling the exact same way, feeling like you're in these spaces that are holding. Pisces, I don't think you are fully realizing how much potential you hold. I feel like you've been told this lie, like over and over again, of like, you're like, I don't know if it's like you're not intelligent enough or talented enough or attractive enough. It's like you've been put down so much that it's almost like you started to believe it over time, and you're like, no, because I have to be in these spaces, because if it's not these spaces, like, and Spirit's like, no, you have to wake up and recognize how truly powerful and capable you are. I'm seeing it with this card too. This is funny because I talked about opening your eyes, right? You have this, of course, this is a Gemini energy, but like I'm seeing the eyes again. It's like eyes closed to eyes open. It's like you gotta open your eyes and you gotta see that there's so much. You carry so much more potential than these places that you've been trying to fit yourself into. This period is really about reclaiming an understanding of your light and your impact in a way too. Seven of Pentacles. Pisces, you are a very loyal person. I feel like you commit to people and situations in your life. You give so much. But this is about understanding that you deserve every ounce of love and effort and care and compassion that you give. You deserve it. But you've been in spaces that take and don't give, that you'll kind of make you feel, because I feel like you are valuable in these spaces, but you're more valuable than what these spaces provide. It's almost like a boss that's like making you feel like, I'm not saying this is exactly what's happening, but it's like the energy of a boss that's like, I pay you such good money, like making you feel like you're making such good money. I could kind of relate to this. I had a boss before I started this business. I had a boss back in my real estate days that was paying me a salary to be an assistant. And over time, this job became more and more demanding until essentially I was on the clock like 7 days a week, 24/7. Like I always needed to be available. And it was so, I was getting very overworked, and I was making my boss a lot of money in the process of it. And through this whole thing, my boss kept telling me, like, I'm paying you so much money. I'm paying you so much money. Like, you're so lucky to have this job. You're making so much money. And I was making decent money, but it wasn't like life-changing money. And I remember being like, why do I feel so overworked and underpaid? And after I eventually kind of hit my limit with that job, and I quit, and I separated from it. And I was kind of looking back, and I was like, wow, she really tricked me into believing that I was making like all of this money just to like keep me working for not proper compensation. And anyway, it's like that energy in a way. It's like you've been told, it's like you've been taught to believe that like this bare minimum that you've been receiving. And this could be kind of in a lot of different areas, maybe in love, maybe in work, I don't know. But it's like you've been tricked into believing that what you've been receiving is enough, and it isn't. But the spaces that you've been in aren't capable of providing you with more than what it is that you deserve. So this is about kind of letting things shift here, because this shift is actually taking you to cycles with more abundance than you currently maybe think is possible. What does Pisces need to know moving forward? But it's your choice here. You can choose familiarity, or you can choose to really truly believe in your potential in a way you never really have before. Immediate future for Pisces. Yeah, look at that, Lovers. This is what you did, aligning with what you deserve. And this Lovers, it doesn't feel romantic necessarily, so this could be about, receiving the love that you deserve. But I also feel like this is about just aligning with what you deserve in general. Like truly starting to receive in alignment with what you give. And I think that what we don't realize is that we teach people how to treat us, and we teach people what our value is by what we do and do not accept. So when we say, I'll accept bare minimum and continue to pour into you, we're telling them, you don't really have to try that hard, and I'll continue to give you everything I have. But when we start raising our standards, and when we start setting boundaries, and when we start getting honest about what we need, it's actually kind of shocking to see how many people benefited from you not having boundaries and from you not, valuing yourself as much. And those spaces that fall away whenever you do start to, stand taller in who you are and what you deserve, they're opening the door for better. But that requires you to really stand tall in what you do deserve, instead of going, oh, well, maybe I do need to accept less because it's better to have less than nothing. But that's what keeps you trapped in the cycle, is the belief that you have to settle to have anything at all. I don't know what this is necessarily about. I think it could be about a lot of different things. But it's going to take a lot of courage for you to shift into these new spaces, but it's good. It's exciting. There's a lot of stability here. Four of Pentacles. It's almost like creating a new foundation for which you are to receive. Because remember, you're not here to prove your worth or your value to anyone. You're not here to show other people that you are deserving of more. You're here to show up knowing that you are worthy and deserving, and anything that doesn't align with that isn't telling you what your worth is, but is telling you that it can't align with your worth. And I feel like, going back to that job explanation that I had, I believed for a long time, like, okay, I'm making good money for what I'm, the work that I'm doing. And now, like, I look back at that, I'm like, I cannot believe I put up with that for so long. Like, that was insane. And now I'm in a space where, my work is properly being valued and compensated. And I'm like, it all is because I kind of hit my limit. And I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. Like, I know that I deserve more. And I know that what I bring to the table is more valuable than this. And I think that sometimes, we think we're waiting on the universe to bring us what we deserve, but the universe is actually waiting on us to finally, kind of put our foot down and be like, I'm not going to try to fit into spaces where I'm not valued or properly compensated or reciprocated anymore, because that's where we start actually opening the door for change. But I'm going to hop on over to the extended. So we're going to dive deeper into this, looking at what you need to do right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self. So looking at the tangible advice, and then I've got an advice card to pull for you at the very end. Thank you so much, Pisces, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Pisces.